I've worked with 4 YouTube consultants now. All of them told me to go and copy what works. You're the first person to say.
What would you do if your YouTube channel blew up and then suddenly the views started to decrease month after month? Well, this is Will Brown, and 18 months ago, his videos were getting insane views. But recently, he started to question everything, and his views as a result took a bit of a dip. So he came to me and said, Ed, can I pay you $1,500 for a half-an-hour conversation to help me? And I said, no, you can't. Because too many people have the same issues that he has on his channel. So I came back with a counter offer and said, I'll do it for free if you let me record the call and put it on my channel so others can learn too. And he said, let's do it. So in this video, I'm going to show you what actually matters when it comes to growing a channel. We are going to look at the deep foundational things that get the biggest results, so you can ignore 90% of the information you are being pushed online that really doesn't have any impact at all. I just want to start off by confirming the 3 problems that you want to fix. The first one was coming up with new ideas. The second was you've lost clarity or feeling of who you are talking to, which is making everything else a bit harder. And then the third one was kind of like upload tactics. What do you put in the description? When do you upload? Sound good?
Exactly. That's spot on it.
The first thing we want to do, right, is just look at 2 things. How YouTube works to grow a business, and then how YouTube works to grow a channel. Because we need to understand that to then work out the exact kind of strategy I'm going to give you. So it's kind of basic stuff, but people always confuse this. So in terms of growing a business, it's actually very simple. We want to make videos that find new people. Then we want to get them to keep coming back to the channel, because if we can get them to come back to the channel over and over again, they warm up. And then we just want to offer them something. But the secret to this all really is, let's say this little blob is you on the left, Will, right? You put out a video, and then we want someone new to find it. And the first day they find it, we really want them to binge like 5, right? So they're like, this guy's perfect. And then you release your next video the next week, they watch it, and then they watch another one. And then the same week after week. And over the course of a month, you basically get them to watch 20 pieces of content. If you can do that, 20 is not a magic number, it's just an example, you're going to get really red hot leads, right? People who like you, fans. So the secret to growing a business on YouTube is basically bringing people back more than it is necessarily growing it. All right. There's no point just growing it and not bringing people back. It doesn't work. So that's the basics of that. Now let's just look at how YouTube works. And basically it's all down to make a viewer satisfaction. So the way I like to look at it is it's like a game, right? It's just scoring your content to see if it should push it more. And if you get a high score, it's going to give it more impressions. So we want watch time. The basic idea is if people watch a video for longer, it's a sign that it's good and it matches the expectations of what they clicked on and you've not clickbaited them. So YouTube might give you more impressions if you've got strong watch time. Then there's click-through rate. So it's like if lots of people are clicking when YouTube pushes, it's a sign that they're interested in it. So it'll push it to more people. Then there's shares. So normally people talk about this one, but let's say you make a video that's so good and someone watches it and they share that link. That's bringing people to YouTube. It's more ad revenue. The session time. So basically, if people binge 10 videos, they're spending a very long session watching your content. YouTube will like that. And there's likes, returning viewers. So when you actually keep bringing people back over and over again, that's good. Comments and subscribers. So let's imagine you've posted a video, Will, and it's this one. You put it out and YouTube instantly tests it with a small audience. You see that first 98, right? And it goes, if this gets a good score, I'm going to push it to a slightly larger audience. And it tests it again, and it comes to the second audience, and it gets a 98. So it goes, oh, I'm going to push it to the even larger audience. And it will just keep doing this, right? And then videos blow up when they're getting pushed mass. So the problem is, if you don't score well, what can happen is you put your video out, and it pushes it to a little small test group, and they're your fans, and they're like, Will's great, I love him. And then they go slightly wider, and that group doesn't vibe with it. It then won't push it any wider. So this is why you see videos take off really quick and then slam to a halt. It's because it took with one audience, not the widest one. That's the scoring system. But it gets a little bit more complex because we also have this thing called watch history. So watch history is very important because if Hormozy is who your viewers are watching, and you post a video on, say, pricing, and he posts one on pricing, YouTube's not just going, let's push Will because we like Will and he's got a 98. They're going, what else do my audience like, right? So you might put a video out on pricing, and then Hormozy gets a 10,000 score, then a 13,000, then a 15. So YouTube's not going to push you. It's going to go, cool, let's take all of Will's impressions and give them to Hormozy because that piece of content is winning. So YouTube in itself is not a very level playing field. So what we want to do is, especially in the business niche, is work out how can we get to the top of the pile so that we steal everyone else's impressions and score high. And the way that we do this, and this is what you did very well when you came to YouTube, but it's lost the way a little bit now, is you differentiate and you own a space. That's basically what I'm going to show you how to do today, and also how to get you back on track with who you're targeting. So what we want for you is, let's just say you become the pricing guy. And I'm not saying do that. We want you so that when any other person comes and makes a video about pricing, YouTube goes, this isn't as good as Will. Keep giving Will the impressions. And the way that we do that is by owning a space. So there's 3 examples of people right now who are owning a space on YouTube and making a huge amount of money because of it. So have you seen Jeremy Hayes? Guy on the left? So this is a really weird way. It's like an unspoken truth about how YouTube works. 10 people in the same week told me to watch this guy. I knew who he was. I knew what he stood for. I knew how he promoted in his content. I knew the exact avatar he wanted before I even watched a video, because he very clearly just went, I want people making 100K. I'm going to get you to 1 million. And in his videos, he's like, if you're not doing 100K a month, don't watch this. He is very slowly becoming the 100 to 1 million guy. And that's what he's doing, right? He's carving out a space. Then we got Jason, who is, you probably recognize him, right? Webinars. So like, he's been doing webinars for years. He helped Hormozi. You hear about Jason almost before you find his channel. He's the webinar guy. And then Daniel here on the right. Have you seen Daniel recently?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel's been doing content for years. He stripped back his channel. He just makes these simple videos, but he did $3 million in a month. And now you're seeing his views go up, right? And now he's owning that space where he's the guy who did $3 million in a month for an agency. So the cool thing about when you own a space is the dollar per view, especially for someone like you, shoots up, because Jeremy Hayes doesn't need 10,000 views. He'd make less money. He needs 3,000 people who can all give him $10,000. It's way more profitable, right? So this is the best way, I think, for most businesses. The other way is you go up against these guys. This is the mass market, and dollar per view crashes because you can get 1 million views and no one's even started a business yet, and all they have is $49. But it still works the same, right? So you see Cody. Cody owns the space of buying boring businesses, and she talks to like everyday people. She's talking to beginners. Hormozi basically just owns the business space, like the whole niche. Like he's the top dog. Dan Martell is basically buying back your time. That was his book. That's what he's known for. And he owns the sort of big problem of time and scaling. So your problem was you stopped owning a space. You actually had all of the things that I just told you, where I heard about you before I saw your channel. Someone said to me, have you seen that guy who sold his info business? And I was like, what? Those don't ever sell. And they're like, yeah, check it out. He made a video, right? So it's like the same thing as Jeremy Hayes. About 3 people said your name in the same week. So I was brought in by the network, not even by YouTube, to discover you, which is pretty cool. So your videos that you were making back then that were doing really well, how I made 16 million, how to make 100K a month, I just sold my private equity, right? So you actually carved out this space of authentic content that was designed for an avatar earning more. That was kind of simple and easy to understand. But at the time, no one was doing it. It was literally just you. But then the problem we have is you knew what you were doing before because you understand business. But the direction you went in recently was top left and the top middle. That's kind of like where I would have stayed. Then you've strayed over into my niche. Copy this video, it'll blow up your business, which is not you, right? Then we've got the how to make money so fast it feels illegal, which is basically a Hormozi title. Think about the one in the top middle with the diagrams. Like that viewer ain't going to watch and come back to the one of you on the money. And then we've got the barley one. And then we've got another one, which is kind of like general. So you moved away, and this probably happened because you thought, I want to go broader, or I wanted to target more of a beginner. But the problem with YouTube is often when you do that, it can turn off the audience that you built. So you might find that the 100K a monthers are like, I don't need this channel anymore. He's going in a different direction. And then you spill over into the mass market, and then suddenly the competition absolutely explodes, and we're up against Hormozi, which, apart from Mr. Beast, he's the next person you don't want to be up against, right? So in terms of the secret to success is bringing people back. And all that's happened is you started to go a little adrift from what brought people back. So how do we get you back on track? That's the question. Before we get into that, any questions on what I've just said?
Makes complete sense. And this is exactly what's been on my mind. And honestly, you're completely right. Because we've solved the business side, and my attitude was, I'll go broader, I'll get more views. That will lead to more calls and sales. But I think, like you've just said, that was simply wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it always feels like more is going to get us more. Let's have a look at how we can get you back on track and how I would kind of just re-strategize. So the first thing you need to do, and there's only really 3 things that matter on YouTube, especially for someone in your position, right? And it's understanding your avatar. So for the viewers, avatar is just like your perfect buyer. Who are they? For years, people were like, come up with a huge spreadsheet and write everything about you, about them, and get very granular on like, what do they have for breakfast? And like, what's their favorite day of the week? And I just found it really overwhelming. So for me, I just go, what's the first thing they think about when they wake up? What's the problem on their mind? And this is literally what blew up my YouTube channel, because I made a video called Waking Up with No New YouTube Subscribers. Try this. I got 500,000 views. So you've got 3 avatars, 0 to 10K, 10 to 100, and 100K plus a month. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I know, because you know business, you're going to know your avatars very well. But I just made up 3 problems for each. So the 0 to 10K a monthers, they're going, I don't know if business is even going to work for me. You know, they don't believe in themselves. They're going, I can't find any clients. And they're going, I don't have enough time to do this around my job. Does that sound fair?
100%, mate.
Yeah. And then we got the 10 to 100K a month, and they're going, I need more leads. Right? So they got some in. Yeah, my clients are annoying me. So they've got bottlenecks in the way they're delivering. They're still not like pros at delivery. And then they're still going, I don't have enough time, because they're doing too much stuff. And then we got the 100K a monthers who are going, I can't scale. They've got an amazing base, but they're like, how do I get to 500K? The team's a nightmare, and I don't have enough time. So if we look at those, I think you understand your avatars well. I don't think that's a problem for you. The problem comes in when we have to play the YouTube game, right? Where we give them what they want over and over again so they return. And I think the simplest way to think about YouTube is this guy in my program called Oliver, and he's just been watching all the strategy stuff. And he was like, Ed, it just sounds like if a video gets traction, just make your next video so it's only really interesting to the people who discovered the last one. And I was like, yeah, that's literally all you do. It's just repeat what worked. So we've got your 0 to 10K a monthers here, and you made a video for them how to make 10K a month part-time, which is exactly the sort of video you should make for those people. But then the 10 to 100K a monthers, you've got the 100K a month Mike First and stuff. Perfect video for them. And then the 100K a monthers, you've got how to get to 16 million. So you're very good at giving these 3 avatars, but the people who want the 16 million aren't going to watch the 10K, right? And the 100K a monthers aren't going to watch. So that's the problem we've got. So that's the main gap. We just need to give them what they want. And then the next thing you need to do in this niche, which is the secret sauce, is to be new. So you were very, very good at being new. There really wasn't any kind of stripped back, no nonsense, simple business advice without tons of editing when you started making video. Like, it was incredibly different, and your story was different. So new is powerful because now anyone can knock up a script. And they do it all the time. Like, people take my scripts, they run it through AI, and then I see my exact words back at me on multiple YouTube growth advice channels at the moment. It's going to happen to you too. So finding the new way to say something when everyone else is repeating the same thing, because they're not actually experts, is very powerful. It's a hook. It makes you stick out. It makes you differentiate. And everyone has heard the same thing a million times before, and it didn't work for them. So they want new, which is exactly the same as copyright. So this is when you are new. What we want to do is get back to that. So I've got a little system that's going to help you be new. Now, this is an example. I've laid out a strategy and some video ideas for you. I'm not saying do this. We're just making this up. So the first step of being new is, what is your unique backstory? And I know your unique backstory, right? So hated running a big team, sold my info business. I then just went on YouTube and started giving free advice, which almost seemed like you did it because you didn't have anything else to do. It never, I don't know, when I met you, it never sounded like you had a plan. You just did it because it was like interesting. It then blew up. Then you started making millions from it, consulting with almost no team. Is that accurate?
Mate, that is exactly accurate. And that was the case. When I sold the business, I then had no team. I didn't really have an offer. and I was just making the videos to fill my time because I was bloody bored and I didn't know what to even do. All the views accidentally built another massive business.
But it just goes to show the power of your unique backstory, because no one had heard this before. You were the guy that sold the business, but an info business. So that's the first part and the thing we're going to harness to keep making you sound new. The next thing is, what do you believe to be true that others don't? So I've seen your content stuff and I've seen certain things you've said, but I've made a rough estimate, and it's scaling is dumb and everyone who does it hates their life. Grow an unscalable business that makes money with less people and less of your time. Does that sound fair?
Very much so. It's becoming more common. I'm seeing YouTube videos every other week of people turning their business off when they've scaled it to start again in this model. So 100%.
The third thing is we want to work out who is your enemy. And it's based, an enemy is basically you take that and you make it your enemy, right? So it's the thing that you are going to stand against. So I know you don't think people should sell like a low ticket course necessarily, because there's a better way to do it. I think the enemy you have is people who tell you to build massive offers of huge teams and scale it out of control and scaling for the sake of it. So once we have your backstory, what you believe to be true and who is your enemy, we can then make you incredibly unique amongst everyone else. And I usually get people to just do a very simple, what I call positioning statement. So I wrote one for you. I help businesses earn more without courses, scaling, or building big teams. Very simple. Sound good?
Does indeed, mate. Yep.
All right. So then once we've got that, that basically is your is a bit of your backstory. It's all the things you do and don't like. We got to decide quickly which avatar are we now going to do this for. Now, I just picked one for the sake of this exercise. We're going to go for the 10 to 100K people on the channel. You can do whatever you want, Will, but we're just going to use this as an example to show you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that and I'm going to start ideating videos that are going to make you new, unique, and very original. So what I did was I audited your channel and I just went through and I was like, what are the videos that people really liked? And they're always the same. Case studies. So like it was the story about you and how you'd done something with proof. And then like personal stories with some details in it of how to do it. And but then also you had these other videos like whiteboard ones that were short processes. It's clear, actionable, step-by-step, that were basically like helping people hit a financial goal. And those videos always got more views than others. And I don't know if you can see on the screen right now what we've got here, but if we look at your top, the top left, on the top row, the second one across, there's your 16 million a year. There's your helping Mike first and do a very specific amount, making 10K a month, very specific. All of your best performing videos have super specific titles and results, right? So it's either here's how someone else made money, here's how I made money, and here's how to do it. And that's what people love for you. So what people hated, and basically what we do is we go and look at the videos that didn't perform, is vague or overhyped income claims without real proof or steps, titles promising quick riches without actionable content, content that feels repetitive or lacks clear step-by-step guidance, right? So if we look at the recent ones that where you lost your direction a bit, being stupid makes you rich, there's no actionable stuff. How to make money so fast is legal is vague, right? We know that people love your specific stuff. And then how I get people to send me large sums of money, if you put like how I get people to send me 100K a month, that would have got clicks because it's way more specific and in line with what your audience really likes about you. So what I did was, and I've built you an idea, all right? So when we're coming up with an idea for a video, I come up with 3 titles and 3 thumbnail variations. So based on your backstory, based on the things that we've been through, one title could be the new way to make 100K a month in 2026. And we just have you with don't build a team in the front, which creates what's known as cognitive dissonance. That's when you tell people to do the thing they've been told to do and they go, why shouldn't I do it? Then we just have you in front of the whiteboard. And the thing about a whiteboard video is these perform very well because when you see that, you only click on it because you want a whiteboard video. What can happen is people click on these and their expectations are instantly matched. So you get longer watch time. And that's why whiteboard videos do so well. And then you've got your bottom one. You would just lay out the new way to make 100K a month in 2026. Same strategy for the other titles. We've got step-by-step, how I made 100K a month without selling courses, without whatever the heck is your enemy. And then the other one is how I'd make 100K a month ASAP as a one-person business. Now, these words, without selling courses as a one-person business, these are things we test. But all I've done is go to your channel and take all of your titles that already performed and just change the words on them slightly. And then I took your thumbnails that have already performed and changed them. And if you look at my channel, that's all I do. So this calls out the avatar, attacks the enemy, feels kind of new because you've got the new spin on it. And then what we do, I've written you an intro, right? Where I'm going to show you how to bring the thing that makes you new and unique into it. And it's this. Would you still want to earn 100K a month if you knew you'd hate your life? I sold my last business for 10 million because it made me depressed. I followed all the usual advice of build a big team, post on social media, and pump money into ads. But even when you make millions, all the people I know doing it this way hate it. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how I went from 0 to 100K a month as a one-person business after that sale by going against everything you've been told to do so that you can actually enjoy your business too. It was a little long. We could probably cut the last line. But first line, we have a hook, and the hook's calling out your avatar. Second line instantly drops in credibility and sets up an interesting problem. Third line introduces your enemy. And what the cool thing about introducing your enemy is all of the people who are fed up with the same old advice are going to be like, I knew there was another way. I'm going to listen to this guy. Then you have the setup, which is, so in this video, I'm going to show you step by step, which basically just says you're going to tell him what the title's about. And then the last line we could probably cut. And that's literally it.
Dude, brilliant. Mate, I feel this advice, I just feel reinvigorated and refreshed and just clear again. You know, I haven't had that clarity for quite a while. So it feels great. I feel like I just want to go and make all the videos now.
I'd get your whiteboard back out and just start drawing things out.
I'm going to, mate.
Okay, so there's no questions of that. Nice and clear.
Yeah, 100%.
Amazing. I did a good job then. All right. And that brings us on to the third problem or questions you had, which is upload tricks. So you might have some specific questions, but I think one of them you asked was, how often do you upload? So my answer to that is post as often as you can make something feel new in a way that appeals to your avatar, can get clicks, and then makes sophisticated information feel simple. So that's where I put all the work into a video. So my job is, how do I make this sound unique? Right? So that's where the time goes. That's your answer. How often do you think you could make videos that focus on those and tick off all those things?
I know that one a week, I can make one great video that I'm truly happy with that will really help people. Any more than that, and my brain gets a bit scattered, the quality goes down.
Yeah. So YouTube's weird. The more you rush it, the harder it gets, the more pressure you get on yourself, and the worse your content is. So one a week is generally what I tell people to do because of that. Did you ask what time to post? I get asked this a lot.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
All right. Where are all your clients generally?
Mainly America and England.
Darkest for longest. But
yeah,
you don't even need that. I just look and go, most of my clients in America, many on the West Coast. So I need to make sure they're awake, and I need to make sure the UK is awake. So I post at 6 p.m. Dubai time. That's it.
Yeah, spot on.
The next thing was description, like what to do with it. And all I ever do is put my work with me link. I tried so many calls to action, and that one just worked better than anything else. It doesn't say it's a program. It doesn't set up anything. It just says work with me. Get RevTrack, that's my software, and then my lead magnet. So for you, it might be work with me, book, a lead magnet, right? Whatever you've got. But that's all we need. You can put in chapters and stuff if you want, but it's not really critical. Otherwise, we don't need keywords. We don't need anything anymore because YouTube reads the transcript. Then pin comments, same thing. I just paste it back in. That's literally it. Just leave it. You don't need to do anything else. But really, the only tricks that matter are understanding your avatar, differentiating, and making things feel new. And if you look at pretty much every creator in the business niche that has ever blown up, that's all they did. All right. Any other questions you want to throw at me?
The biggest lesson that I've learned is speak to one avatar because then everything else gets easier. It's kind of, you can bring all of your ideas into a more digestible place where you can think of good titles and good videos when you bring it back to that one key avatar. Just one more question for you, man, is really on that topic of thinking of ideas and specifically thinking of titles. Is there anywhere that you would look for other ideas, or would you keep it your own ideas like I have historically?
First place I go, I don't go to anyone's channel. I go to my channel. I'm like, what works on my channel? Because the title that brought the viewers to your channel is the title that will bring them back, right? But also, if you go and use one of Hormozi's titles, it won't work because his title is designed for a different audience. Yeah,
well, dude, that answers the question entirely. And I've worked with 4 YouTube consultants now. All of them told me to go and copy what works. You're the first person to say, copy what works from yourself. For the first time in many, many months, I finally feel clear. And more importantly, I feel excited to go and make
Oh, that's
videos
good.
again, 100%. And that's all thanks to you, mate. So much appreciated.